Apple's Vision Pro and now the Galaxy XR are two devices in kind of the same category, offering to do all sorts of things, apps, games, etc. But what I always come back to, especially with the Vision Pro and now with the Galaxy as well, is watching content and doing work on my laptop when I want some extra real estate. Those two things seem to be pretty popular use cases, especially in the Vision Pro community. Now that this device has been out for over a year and a half, a lot of people find themselves coming back for those two things: watching content and doing work on their laptop. They give you the ability to have amazing screens that allow you to consume content and have a large virtual 4K seeming display right in front of you. And since the Galaxy XR has come out, I've seen a lot of questions about how is the quality of viewing content in this headset versus Vision Pro. The Vision Pro pushes a total of 23 million pixels with micro OLED displays, and the Galaxy XR pushes 29 million pixels also with micro OLED displays. Now, just the display is not telling the whole story. It's the chip, the software, the whole package. How does it all fit together? How does it feel to really watch content despite the specs? Given that the Galaxy XR is half the price, are you really getting a better value when you buy this headset over a Vision Pro? Especially when you're getting those extra pixels, you would imagine that it might even look better to watch content in the Galaxy XR. After watching content and really trying to dig deep and pixel peep and look at all sorts of different types of content, standard cinema, 3D, spatial, I wanted to give you my honest thoughts about how I feel like these two devices really compare when it comes to watching content. Both of these headsets do a fantastic job. The screens are bright, vibrant. When you're watching high quality media, it truly feels like you have a floating 4K display of pretty much any size in front of you. Both of these headsets truly look fantastic. When I'm trying to really peep these pixels and look at these little differences, I don't really see much of a difference when it comes to pixel density. So even though this headset is pushing more pixels through the displays, Apple does a great job of optimizing the, we'll say, more limited pixels to show a virtual display that looks very similar compared to the Galaxy XR. When it comes to the vibrancy and the colors and the brightness of the display, I really do think Galaxy XR is a bit better here. I tend to notice the content looks brighter and a bit more colorful, let's say, when I compare side by side with the Vision Pro. For a device that's half the price, it seems like a really good value when you're talking about just watching that content. The problems arise when you talk about the UI, some of the slight differences in terms of like how to get around the software and actually get to the content you want to watch. The fluidity of moving around and resizing content is better on the Vision Pro. The environments are better on the Vision Pro. And overall, you're just getting kind of a smoother feeling experience. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people don't care as much about that. It's, do I have a nice, colorful, vibrant screen in front of me? This one does the job. And for one of the key use cases of watching content, I think this is a fantastic device, has access to all sorts of content. You've got built-in Netflix and YouTube, which both work really great. Now, I will say on Vision Pro, you are able to access YouTube or Netflix via the browser or third-party apps, and they do a good job. Your big limitation, though, is going to be downloading content. That gets a little bit more difficult to work around with the Vision Pro, while on Galaxy XR, you can download content for offline use from those services. As I said earlier, the other big reason that and I think a lot of others like these types of headsets is for productivity. Giving yourself a lot more screen real estate. If you're traveling, you just have that one laptop screen, allowing yourself to have a lot more display space to work in. And I gotta say, Vision Pro takes the cake here. The ease of use of connecting to a Mac is just unrivaled. I was trying to do all sorts of workarounds to get a nice setup working with Galaxy XR on my Mac, on a PC, and even on the Galaxy Book, which is supposed to be the nice tight integration. And I go into detail in other videos on this, but it does not work that well. At least for me, it's been very buggy. I have seen some commenters say it works well for them, but I've been using the latest drivers, software, everything, and I've continued having consistent issues using the whole Samsung ecosystem, trying to do this whole virtual display setup. So in my experience, Apple Vision Pro, much better for productivity. Back to watching content though. As I'd said, I've tested all sorts of content. Watching cinema, pretty even between the two, slightly better display, brightness, vibrancy on Galaxy XR. On 3D movies, I would say it felt pretty similar. I didn't notice any big difference between the two headsets. And spatial content, I feel like there wasn't truly a fair comparison. The only good spatial content that I was able to find on the Galaxy XR is the Asteroid app / film experience that they promoted during their announcement. I went through that whole experience. It was pretty good. And if it was my first time watching spatial content and that full kind of 3D 180 view, I would have been very impressed. But being used to Apple's spatial content library, which is much larger, Apple does a better job. I don't think it has anything to do with the displays. I think it has to do with how Apple is filming that content. They're using real high-end cameras. The Asteroid experience on the XR felt almost more animated, and I don't think it was the best type of content to really show off what these displays are capable of. With that said, I'm very excited to see what Samsung comes out with for new spatial content within Galaxy, because again, I think it's just a limitation of how that was filmed. These screens they have in this headset are fantastic, and I think in the future there's going to be some great spatial content to watch here. Another slight frustration with the Galaxy XR is the fact that Apple TV and Disney Plus are not available in this headset yet. I know it's early, I'm sure they will update eventually, but right now I think those are two of the best apps for watching 3D movies, and neither of them will work on the Galaxy XR while they do work on the Vision Pro. So it's something to keep in mind. If you are getting this device to watch movies, then look at what's really available. So to sum it up, really, watching content, once you get everything working, it is fantastic in the Galaxy XR. I think it's a great value compared to the Vision Pro. The screens that you're getting, the quality of watching that virtual content in front of you is really good. But if you're looking at getting this for productivity, if you are really interested in all that spatial content, you might want to think twice. If you really want that fluid UI and software experience, that's where Vision Pro is going to be a bit better. So there is good value here to be had, but it really depends on what you're looking for a device like this. So those are my general thoughts on watching content. And again, it's a solid device, just a few things that need to be tweaked. I think software updates in the future are going to make this much better, but for a day one product, there are a few issues I'd like to see ironed out. Let me know if you guys have questions, and thank you for watching.